What's up folks, Jay here from Jay's Way, and today I'm going to teach you how to set up different shipping profiles in Etsy in case you ever want to ship outside of your home country. Printify makes this super simple with all the providers they have all over the planet, so it only makes sense that you ship wherever you can. There's no reason why you don't want to be selling to the rest of the planet, right? I'm just going to show you how to do that so you're not sacrificing any kind of money or anything like that. For all intents and purposes today, we're going to assume that your shop is a US-based shop. Oh, hi Bubs. Good boy. So if we're looking at the Gildan 64000, for example, the soft style shirt is one of my favorites, and we use a print provider like Monster Digital, you can see that the shipping starts at $475, and that is a US based location. So that is assuming that it's shipping to the US. And if we just click on the more info and shipping, you can see from the US to the US, $475. Each additional item is $2.40. From Canada, it jumps to $9.39 with extra $2 at $4.39 going up there. Rest of the world, $10 and $4, and Australia specifically all the way up to $12.49 and $4.99 for an additional item. So if you're shipping from the United States to Australia, you got to make sure you're charging this $12.49. Otherwise, you're going to be eating, just over $7, $7.50, right? And in this example, Lynn in the Printify POD Rockstars group, I promised her I'd create this video for her so she can understand how to do it. So here we are. Her predicament is that she sells t-shirts. She's in Australia. She tries to give a simple explanation. Basically, a t-shirt costs to buy in Australia $34. She has it printed through Printbar, which is an Australian company, and delivered within Australia. It would cost them $10 for delivery. Problem is, when a purchaser in the USA buys the exact same shirt, it will cost whatever it costs, and then the shipping will be $14.19, and the delivery time will obviously be way too long, right? The roles reverse now. If you're in the States and you want to ship to Australia, you have to make sure you're charging extra. So again, we go back to here. We want to make sure that you're charging $12.49 if you're shipping to Australia. That's number one. So we'll go into our Etsy shipping profiles, and we've got our profile here, and we can just click on this and it'll show. So I got t-shirts, shipping from the United States. My zip code is what the default was for Monster Digital. Custom range, you can change this to whatever you want. This time of year, probably 5 business days is safe, although everyone seems to be operating really quickly right now. You never know. Give yourself the buffer. That's fine. United States, delivery time, 2 to 5 business days, fixed price. So you'll notice here that the shipping price for Monster Digital was $4.75, and additional item was $2.40. Not good enough for me because I want to make money on this. We get charged 6.5% on the shipping fee here in Etsy fees. So I want to make sure that I'm, recouping that, right? I'm not losing that. So I charge about $6.75, $7, sometimes $6.95. And speaking of Etsy, and the additional items I charge $4.50. So I'm, charging an extra $2 on top of this, and an extra at least $2 on top of that. That way I'm not losing any money in terms of percentages. I'm actually making money on the shipping. And it's also nice because if you run a sale, if you ran, for example, a 25% off sale on your item, you can make up a lot of that money by charging shipping, right? So never give free shipping, in my opinion. Always charge for shipping, and you can make up some of that discounted, sale price by adding the shipping cost. The next thing you want to do here is click on add another location. I usually add Canada, and then I'll add it everywhere else. In this case, I'll add it everywhere else because shipping from US or Canada to Australia, France, Germany, literally everywhere else is almost the same price as anywhere else. So we'll just do anywhere else. And this here is showing USPS options here because it's assuming that our origin zip code is 32575 and the country of origin is in the United States. That's not always the case depending on the printer you use. So I would just go down here and do other, and then you can set your shipping times. If you're shipping from within the country or close to, you can, 1 or 2 business days up to 4 or 5 is probably plenty. You could go, 6 or 7 just to give yourself some buffer there. What you'll charge is a fixed price. I'll go here. So I'll always go with the highest one. So we've seen $12.49 here, and then I'll inflate it to, let's say, like $15 so that we're not losing. We're actually making money on something. Every additional item, it's saying $5. I'll still do the same. Let's go $7.49. Seems more enticing. And that's what we're doing here. So we're saving this. You can see it affects only one listing because I've only got the one listing. So now we've got our shipping profile set, and we can click on this and see what we're looking at here. So I've got my country of origin as the States, t-shirts as a shipping profile. That's it. Zip code is whatever Printify had listed for Monster Digital. Custom range. United States, other fixed price, $675, $450. We're making money on that. And our $12.49, assuming, is the most expensive, again, out of all of the places on the planet to ship. And we want to make, a little bit of money on that as well. After losing our 6% fee and the additional item, we're still making money on that $4.99. The really, really, really nice thing about charging this much for anywhere outside of that home country is, if you can help it, let's say the order is in Australia, we're going to find an Australian printer like the Printbar. Look at that. They will ship from Australia to Australia for $6.09. So if they have the same product, and this is why I use products that many printers carry all over the planet. If they have the same product, again, I'm going to show you this. They are now in the States ordering from your shop that's based in the States. They're shipping to Australia or anywhere else, in this case, Australia. They've just paid you $15 in shipping fees. You are only being charged $6.09 because you're going to fulfill this from the Printbar. So it is going to ship from Australia to Australia. So now you just made an extra $9, maybe $8 after fees, $8 and change on your product just for charging for the shipping. And this is not unusual. Like, people in Australia understand. People in Canada expect to pay $20 a pop. It sucks, but that's what we're used to. Shipping costs a fortune to get things to us. So you're making money. You feel like, okay, yeah, now maybe, do you feel like you're gouging the customer? That's up to you. You can refund overages if you want. I personally don't. I think it's a fair price because there will come a time where I will have to use this Australia shipper to ship to a United States order, and then I'm paying $14 or $15, right? So it kind of washes out. You always want to stay up ahead. It's not going to wash out in terms of like ever being flat. You always want to be in the black. You always want to be making money. For the majority of your purchases, you're going to be making a lot of money extra, $6, $7 extra on every order, because they're paying this for Canada. They're paying this for the US. And if we go to, for example, if they ordered from Canada now, they've paid $15. Let's go see Duplium, for example. Same idea. So shipping from Canada to Canada is $9.99. So they've paid you $15. You're only making $5 on this one, but you're still making $5. A little bit less after the 6% fee there, but that's the idea. So now if they order, let's say you have to fulfill it from Canada because your US supplier is out, at least when, if it's going to rest of the world, for in this case, let's say Australia, they're going to charge you $11. You've already charged a $15. You are golden. So what does this look like on the Printify end now? So we've got our listing here in Printify under my products, right? So I've got PB001 here, 64,000 and USA. I'm using my SKU that I have in my titles in my Etsy listing so that I can identify artwork quickly. The 64,000 is the Gildan 64,000, and the country that it is shipping from is the USA because it's Monster Digital. So I'm going to show you in my listings here exactly this listing. So in my previous video where I made my Papa Bear design that I'll link to right here, I talk about how I called the design PB001 because I was going to make a series of Papa Bear designs. And I mentioned that I append my Etsy titles with that artwork title. So in my hard drive, I'll just have this called PB-001. And the next Papa Bear design will be 002, 003, and so on. So I've got this designer here, Papa Bear's Father's Day t-shirt for dad, Papa Bear gift, camping, hiking shirt, blah, 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 and appended with PB001 for this particular design. If we go back to Printify now, you can see what I'm talking about here. So I'm just clicking on this listing so you can see how, you've got everything in here. I don't push to Etsy. You can if you want. Either way, I'll have this named here as PB001 64,000 USA. That way, when the order comes in, I can search for it easily. And I'll show you what I mean here. What do we want to do if we want to fulfill from Australia to Australia or a different country, for example? I'll just go right here where it's duplicate. I'll duplicate this listing. You can see copy of PB001 here, 64,000 USA. And then I'm going to replace the product. So we want to use the Australian one. So that in this case was the Printbar. I'll select and continue. And it's got the same color selected, whatever. But now you can see here that it's Gildan 64,000, but it's fulfilled by the Printbar. So this is the key right here. Now we got to go save product. And I will just delete the copy of here and turn this to AUS for Oz. and then save as draft, and you'll see it back in our listings here now. So yeah, you be mindful of what's out of stock, but now we've got this one for the USA and this one for Oz. So if we go to our orders tab, I would go to settings. I would make sure that everything is manual. So enable order routing, I don't do it. Manual, you must manually click submit order to approve each order. That way, if anything pulls in a US, if you have like the, your items linked, if anything pulls in a US product, even though it's going to Australia, it won't automatically fulfill from the US and you won't get charged that crazy amount for shipping, right? So make sure that's manual and manually send to production. That's pretty much it. And then we save. If you go into your orders tabs now, you can either click submit order here, or you can click on it like so, edit the order. And for example, this one has USA. You can click, but it's going to Australia, let's say. We don't want Monster Digital fulfilling it. So I would click on this and add the Australian order. And all you have to do is you click on that and then type in AUS and that'll populate. Alternatively, if they're in your other orders tab, you would just click on the listing and select product. And then you could either search by your product or by catalog. And in our case, we would click my products, type in, for example, USA, if it's going to USA, and then everything that was tagged with USA will show up. If I tagged AUS, everything tagged with AUS will show up like this. You got a Gildan 5000 going to AUS, coincidentally by the print bar. So it's another product in a different store, but you get the picture. So that's all there is to it. Let me know if that makes sense to you. Again, the idea is that if you are shipping outside of your country, but you have to use a printer from within your country, then you've at least already charged enough to cover that. And the bulk of the time, the other 90% of the time, you should be able to fulfill from a country local or very close to the recipient or the address where it's going. And the other nice thing about that is the shipping time. So instead of shipping from, for example, the United States all the way to Australia, where it might take 2 weeks to get there and another week or two being held up at customs, especially this time of year, now it's shipping from within the country. So it's going to get there in, the 3 to 5 business days. You've set your parameters for up to 10 business days. Now you're under promising and over delivering. And these are big, big, big wins when it comes to, customer satisfaction. Oh my God, I thought it was going to be, 2 weeks before it got here, and it was here in 5 business days. How awesome is that, right? That leads to 5-star reviews. That leads to brand ambassadors. That leads to all kinds of people being excited about your stuff and coming back for more because that experience was amazing. It really is that simple. Hope this made sense. We'll see you in the next one.